Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 67 of This Week in Geek. My name is Ren Geekness, and I'm, of course, joined, as always, by my co-host, Zach Pope. How are you doing today, Zach?
I'm great, man. Jesus Christ, I didn't know what our topic was going to be, and then this popped up on what, Thursday? Thursday, I think?
I think might have been Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah,
And
Wednesday
now
late
we are
into the
here.
evening for me. Yeah,
Yeah,
now
now
we're
we're here.
here. We had no idea what we were talking about this week, but now we're here. And speaking of what we're talking about this week, however you're finding us, thank you so much for finding us, whether you're watching us live on YouTube, catching the replay, or listening to us on Spotify. In case you're new to the show, first of all, welcome. And This Week in Geek basically works in three segments. We start with our weekly ranking. That's when me, Zach, and then you guys on the live chat will go through everything we watched this week and rank it from the worst to the best. After that, we go into our main topic of discussion. That's when me and Zach discuss over the topic that's on the thumbnail, on the title, and the picture on the community tab, which is where you leave your questions for us to answer it on the third segment of the show, the Q&A portion of the show. Of course, we don't always necessarily have time for all the questions, but we do our best to get to them. If you want to guarantee your question is answered, you can actively support the show while you ask great questions through the tip link in the description or the super chat feature. So with that out of the way, let's go into our live, not into our live anything. Wait, that's the third segment of the show I just said. Let's go into our weekly ranking. And I didn't watch much this week. I only watched three things. And only one of them was good, unfortunately. So let's start at the very bottom. Yesterday, I took myself out to go see Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. The best part of this film is the chaos that ensues on Black Friday on the opening set piece of the film.
This is very realistic, by the way.
It just hit me as I was watching it. And oh my God, next week I'm getting all the video compilations from America of all the shit that's going down at stores. It's my favorite time of the year.
They changed it. It's not like that anymore because now Black Friday deals start 2 weeks ago. So it's not and then when Black Friday actually happens, there's like some deals, but not really. Like after COVID, everything kind of changed.
Damn it. I still get the compilations video every year, though, on YouTube. I just go there, Black Friday Chaos 2023, and I'm like, let's go. Getting my popcorn. From then, this is how the film opens, with the very chaotic Black Friday sequence. After that, it goes downhill. It did not work for me. Lots of familiar faces in here that I'm like, oh, this person is in here. Oh, this person is in here. Oh, this person that I recognize but I don't know from where is here. All this sort of stuff. It very much wants to be a franchise. It very specifically wants to be Scream, but with the sort of holiday edge to it. It's perfectly watchable. I already forgot most of it. The kills are not that entertaining. They're not that cool. Even when it wants to go for the gory practical effects, it distracts you with CGI blood spurts. So this is not for me. Not for me. On top of that, ever so slightly on top of that, is Ridley Scott's Napoleon. Not gonna get too much into it. My review is ready. It will go up right after the show as we finish. I just need to type a few more things into the tags, into the description, all that stuff. So since I don't want to dive too much into that, I do want to share with you guys the thumbnail. I have the thumbnail ready for my Napoleon review, and here it is. It's this idiot on top of a horse. With the signature behind them. So that's the video you'll see later today. And I finally can discuss Napoleon. Big disappointment, though. Big disappointment, as I was very excited for it. And last but not least, number one, easily this week, Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This is the best Hunger Games film since Catching Fire. In every conceivable way, it is as close a number two as any other Hunger Games film has ever been for me. It doesn't beat Catching Fire. It might, if I go back to it upon rewatch, and I'll have to just rewatch them back to back, but it comes very close. because when this film is ongoing, when it hits the right notes, it hits the right notes in not so literal, but also literal ways. It's a spectacular return to form for me. I love just diving into this world, but it feels so fresh at the same time. Cannot recommend this high enough. If you have not gone to see Hunger Games: Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, go see it. If you have never seen another Hunger Games movie before, start with this one. It's a prequel, and I would be very interested to know what people that have never experienced this world before think as they dive into it through this film first and foremost. All right, Zach, what do you got?
So at the bottom for me, it's Napoleon. This is one of my least favorite films of this year. This movie was boring, dull. The more I think about it, I think it's one of Ridley Scott's worst, honestly. And I mean, I've said it. I'm not a huge Ridley Scott fan as it is, but I think I can more admire a lot of his filmography. And then at the same time, there is stuff that I love. And I loved The Last Duel. Hated House of Gucci. But I liked House of Gucci more than this, honestly. Napoleon for me has a lot of Napoleon has a lot of issues for me. And I found a lot of its issues to stem from the fact that it just feels like there's this long string and he just cut it up to get it, because he's talked about that there's a 4-hour cut of this, and maybe that cut is the magnificent, amazing version of this film, but at the same time,
I don't know that I dare myself to sit through 4 hours of that, though. Having not enjoyed the 2.5 hours,
but because the only thing I can give this film, the action scenes were great. I thought all the battle scenes were great, but those were the things that woke me up, because every time a cannon went off, I would almost jump because I was already sleeping again. This movie is the definition of a snooze fest. And when I was awake and when I could wake up, I don't know what I think Phoenix and Kirby are fine in here, but I don't know what they were doing, like with the relationship.
The fact that you have to say they are fine shows a problem, and that's exactly how I felt. It's not like, oh wow, Joaquin Phoenix was amazing as always. No, he wasn't.
The more I sit on his performance, I just again, and I mean that goes down to editing and directing. So for all I know, he gave the best fucking performance on set, and Ridley Scott did not capture that at all. Because I can see what he was going for, but it's like everyone had a different tone to itself. You have Vanessa Kirby, you have Phoenix, and then you have Ridley Scott, and all their performances were just, all their different ideas were just not really mix mashing. So wasn't really satisfied with Napoleon. Up next, though, I do have Thanksgiving. I actually really enjoyed this. I'm not a huge fan of Eli Roth at all. And I'm actually really pissed at him right now because of the whole Borderlands situation, because I just want that fucking movie. But I went into this, but unlike Ren, I actually did not like the opening sequence. I didn't like the opening 10 minutes. I thought the opening 10 minutes was fucking stupid. And I mean, it gets you into the tone of it, but I was just like, what is this? But then I found myself having fun with it. And it's cinematic trash, but I really enjoyed it, and I do not know why. The kills were fun. I like the scream aspect. I actually am dumb and could not tell you who it was until maybe 15 minutes beforehand. So I like that. I think overall it's not a great movie. I think the acting is pretty piss poor. I think the dialogue is pretty awful too. But I can't deny that I thought it was funny and fun. And when I went into this movie, I was not excited because of Napoleon. And I was like, wow, 2 bad movies in a row. But I walked out and I was like, did Eli Roth actually make an enjoyable movie for once? Seems like it. So up next, I have Wish. I know Ren has not seen this one yet. So
Monday, seeing it Monday.
I had never seen a trailer for this movie. I never heard a single song for this movie. This movie is magical. I've I'm more just surprised by certain reactions to the film. I can understand some of the animation discussion, but in the end of the day, after a while when I'm watching the movie, I loved what they went for. I thought it was kind of different, but I also loved that it's it's the Disney's 100th anniversary, so I kind of like the approach for the animation that they did. But overall, Wish is just great. I really, really, really enjoyed it. And Star is one of the best sidekicks ever for Disney animation, flat out. In the last 9 years, he's probably my favorite. So,
oh wow,
since Baymax, personally. So, up next, at my number 1, The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I'm right there with Ren. I think this is second best to Catching Fire. I did go back and watch Catching Fire about a couple months ago. That is still the best one. This movie was awesome. I actually wish it was a little bit longer because I think the third act's a tad rushed. And I think if you're going to have that length, why not just go for 2 hours and 58 minutes? It's not.
I agree.
You're not changing anything for me, man. And I know there was maybe a discussion of like, maybe they should have split it into 2. And I'm like, no, because the whole thing, then you would have had the issue of, oh, well, it feels like it just peaked in part 1. Because in reality, it kind of does seem like it does peak in terms of action and the intensity, where the back half is more the epilogue to the entire story. And I think when it says the ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I think it literally means this is a ballad. This isn't like your normal story that you would be told in a certain film. And I found this movie to be excellent. First off, the performances. Blythe is fucking great.
Yeah.
Never seen this guy before in anything. But Rachel Zegler, the biggest thing I can give for her is, since this is all from Blythe's point of view, you're just thrown in like him to who the fuck is this girl? She comes in, she's picked at the reaping, she starts singing, doing all these things, and instantly you love her. Then you don't really get to know much more about her, but Blythe's like transfixed by her, and it's the same thing as an audience member. I was transfixed by her. And I think Rachel actually gives the toughest performance in here because she has to instantly make everyone believe that's watching that movie that, first off, Blythe would fall for this, and second, that we as an audience would do the same. And I think some people might have an issue with like, oh, I would have loved to see Lucy Gray's like time before in District 12 and stuff like we would see from Katniss, but I think that's the whole point of the film. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to get this big in-depth stuff with her. So I thought Rachel did a great job. I also think Jason Schwartzman is fucking great as the game host,
good.
and Viola Davis and Peter Dinklage. Small role, very important,
but very impactful.
Yeah. Overall, this movie was epic. It was badass. I love the bare bones stuff for the fight, and this is one of those films that I think is only going to grow on me the more I watch it.
100%. All right, guys, let's get into your weekly rankings, and we start with Nathan Madigan, and let me zoom in on this a little bit. Number 6, Elemental. Number 5, Tales of Hoffman, which I've never heard of. Number 4, Across the Spider-Verse. Number 3, The Killer, which is finally on Netflix, and I'm so happy. Number 2, Into the Spider-Verse. And number 1, Empire Strikes Back. Which I don't know how you watch it without watching A New Hope and Return of the Jedi back-to-back immediately. You're a braver man than I am. And Tobes. Number 4, Harley Quinn Season 4, which I still need to get started on. Number 3, The Marvels. Number 2, Captain Marvel. And number 1, Succession Season 4, which I finally caught up on just so I could watch Season 4 with everyone else. So, yeah. All right, everyone. With that out of the way, let's get into our main topic. And our main topic, of course, it's Marvel, because as many people on the internet claim, we're Marvel shills. We're Disney shills. We're being paid by Disney. No, we're not. To cover this on our show. And this week, the biggest, well, not the biggest, but perhaps the rumor with the most credibility behind it has emerged. Marvel, Disney, they have not confirmed this. It is only being reported, but reported to great detail as we were about to unfold on you. But Pedro Pascal there's a specific website called Slash Film that claims he's already signed. Now, Slash Film isn't a random website with no credibility, with no reliance, but it is also not a Deadline or a Variety or a Hollywood Reporter. And those three big ones, they say Pedro Pascal is close to signing. He has been given an offer which says Disney, Marvel, they're interested. He's accepted to look through that offer, which says I am interested as well. And 99.9% of the times, if both sides are interested, they will eventually at least agree. What's his example? Because he's not who I was thinking of.
He was Doctor Strange.
Did he ever say I was interested?
Yeah,
I know they were looking at him.
Oh no,
I know they reached out.
He was every time because I went and looked. There was Deadline and Variety were like,
okay,
this man is signing, and then he was like, nah.
I did not remember it that way. I only remember that Marvel was interested. The example I was thinking of was Jonah Hill for the Penguin in the Batman.
That's another good one.
Matt Reeves is the Batman. So those are two examples of it fell through. But either way, those are the exceptions out of the thousands of roles, especially for these kind of big projects nowadays. Those roles, 99.9% of the time, they're cast. So Zach, why don't you take us through the details of the idea, at least, the report of Pedro Pascal signing to be Reed Richards.
So this is what Deadline says. I've also talked to a few people because the second I heard the name, I was like, that's a very interesting one. After months of speculation over who might play Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic in Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four, the wait might be finally over. While a deal is far from done, this is from Deadline, by the way. If you go and read any other article, some people say the deal's almost done. Some people say the deal's not even close, and some people say that he is signed by like 2 days ago. Sources tell Deadline the 3-time Emmy nominee Pedro Pascal is in talks to play the leader of the iconic superhero team. Insiders add that scheduling is still being worked out, but multiple sources close to the negotiations are saying it's heading in the right direction for Pascal to do this and his future other projects, since his full dance card includes Gladiator 2, which is expected to go into production before the end of the year, as well as his popular HBO series The Last of Us is supposed to start shooting next year in January, and Zach Kreger's Weapons as well. Marvel had no comment. That's about it.
Of course. So, as you see here, there are details in this story. This is the first time that any of these big outlets have taken a report or a rumor or a suggestion and actually reported on it. That's what tells us this is actually happening. Not that he has signed, not that he will be Mr. Fantastic, but it tells us Marvel wants Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal wants to be Mr. Fantastic. As far as I'm concerned, he is not my first choice, only because in my own head, I was casting way below his age range. Pedro Pascal is in excellent shape. He looks amazing. He's got the youthfulness to him, but he is closer to his 50s. That's just the way it works. So I was never thinking of a Pedro Pascal. But if you suggest to me, what if a Pedro Pascal would be cast as Reed Richards, that is as fucking close to perfect as you can possibly get. He's one of the best actors working today. And I understand there's a perspective where, he's doing too much. He's now in everything. It's just the time that people are fucking realizing that he is as good as he is. He's put in the work. Now he deserves to get these roles for it. And Pedro Pascal can play into those two crucial sides of Reed Richards that you need to have in this character. He can play the protective family man, the cheesy fatherly figure, but he can also have this dark side to him, consumed by obsession, by rage, by reaching for the unattainable.
I just seen people saying that he couldn't do that over the last 2 days, and I'm like, did you not watch The Last of Us?
And Game of Thrones and Wonder Woman 1984. Like, say what you will about that film, but like those three performances show you all his range.
Yeah,
There's another
and
big project that I'm blanking on
Mhm.
that he did.
I mean, he's in a lot, so.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, Kingsman. He's in Kingsman.
Yeah, again, Mandalorian, but
Yeah.
granted, Mandalorian is not the best one to show range. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh, no. You know the other one he was really fucking good in? It's that Ben Affleck one and Oscar Isaac on Netflix.
Oh, Triple Frontier.
Yeah, he was really
Yeah,
good in that too.
he's good at that.
He
He's
and
good.
and that's and this is what I'll say. So there's been a lot of conversation that the script really focuses on Sue, and that might be what's made a lot of difficulty of finding Reed.
Mhm.
I don't know how much I believe that. I think it more just came down to money and commitment because whoever's signing for Reed, like basically the way that I'm gonna view Reed, this is our next the Fantastic Four, what Kevin Feige probably wants to do with them. These are the leads of the MCU for the next
Yeah,
10, 15 years, probably. And specifically
100%.
Reed will be as well. So Pedro is signing on, like whoever is signing on for this. Again, a lot of the if you go through a lot of the other journalists and stuff who have talked about this, is people just want money. They wanted more money, and now Marvel's trying to get their budgets in. Pedro's not the most expensive person to get, but he's also one of the best that you could get.
Yeah.
And he wasn't my first, he wasn't my second, he wasn't my third, he wasn't even on my fucking list. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, same. Because I wasn't thinking on his age range. I was just completely shutting all those down.
But
Or
now
out.
that he's casted, or
Well, now
should
that
be
he's close to
casted,
being cast.
I'm excited. And I'll be honest with you, I think he is, and I think a lot of these like deadline and stuff like that usually just say they're in talks, and then they never really
Mhm.
do a follow up to that unless it's like an
Yeah.
actual announcement, which I think Kevin Feige will make. And that Brazil Comic-Con's coming up, they're gonna
Yeah.
go there, and I
Yeah.
think that's a huge Comic-Con. They're gonna announce their entire slate there. They're gonna announce the changes, and I think that's where we get the entire cast of the Fantastic.
I would focus solely on announcing the Fantastic. If you're gonna do it, I would focus solely on announcing here's our Fantastic Four, and give some more updates. Now,
Yeah.
I have seen conversation online, people suggesting that he maybe instead of Reed Richards should play Doctor Doom. And I'll tell you what, again, not my first choice, not my second choice. I told you all of my choices are. Pedro Pascal as Doctor Doom. I love it even more than I like the idea of him as Reed Richards. While Reed Richards is one, I wasn't thinking about Pedro Pascal because I just wasn't looking at that age range. Pedro Pascal as Doctor Doom is exactly the kind of actor that that can convey sympathy, but also pity, can be evil, but at the same time, there's something so compelling to him, and he can effortlessly convey all that. That said, whether he's cast as one or the other, and here's why I wasn't thinking of Pedro Pascal for either myself. When I said I wasn't thinking on that age range for Reed Richards, Doctor Doom needs to be this around the same age as Reed Richards. Now you can cast a Pedro Pascal and cast, I don't know, I'm exaggerating to make a point, so follow me here. Pedro Pascal as Doctor Doom, Joseph Quinn as Mr. Fantastic. Okay? The characters need to be the same age. So if you want to do that, Doctor Doom, like a part of his aging has to be a part of the reason why he puts on the mask. The disease that eats him away, the corrosion that he finds in negative zone, parallel, however you want to put it, wherever they go, quantum realm. So if you cast two actors that are very different in their age, even in how they look, that's fine as long as there's a reason for it, because the characters, they need to be the same age. Zach, what would you think if Pedro Pascal was, instead of Reed Richards, was our Doctor Doom instead?
He'd be great, but I would rather see Reed at this point. The only reason I say that is because I don't even want to see fucking Doom's face. I don't. Just have him with a mask. In fact, I would rather the way that I would do him at this point is I would legit have a body double underneath and get an incredible actor with an incredible voice. Not saying Pedro doesn't have an incredible voice, but I mean, Josh Brolin was a little bit different, but even if you would have done that, Josh Brolin's voice is very intimidating. So good for Thanos. And I've seen these reports that like Marvel talked to Mads Mikkelsen. I don't know if I believe it because John Campea sometimes doesn't give the best rumors and stuff like that.
Was it John Campea that
it was
that said that?
It was from Campea's show, yeah. But
I didn't know that.
I mean, Mads Mikkelsen's voice is pretty fucking perfect for a Doctor Doom.
I mean, wouldn't be the first time that Marvel casts repeat actors.
Not at all, and I would be open for it. So that would be my perspective, and you know, if Pedro was that, not like he couldn't do the voice, he fucking does the Mando all the time. So
yeah, exactly.
It's funny to me though, where people are like, I don't know how he'll be able to film all these different things, and I'm like, if you know where The Last of Us is going, he will absolutely be able to film all this shit. He'll just be busy because he'll pretty much film Gladiator probably till the start of next year. Then he'll film Last of Us for part of the first little bit. And then he'll probably do Fantastic Four and then Krager's Weapons, which that film sounds awesome.
I think for sure Gladiator 2 is what will keep him most busy. I was just having a conversation the other day where people were...
Is he a huge role in that?
Obviously, he's not the main protagonist. He's not the main antagonist, but he's like right under that, I believe.
Okay.
So he will have a big role. And I was having a conversation with people the other day about like, I believe it was when he was announced to be casting Gladiator 2. And everyone was saying, oh, now he's got Gladiator. How is he going to do The Last of Us? And I had a guy saying, oh, if you've played Last of Us 2, he's not going to be needed for longer. And I went, if you played Last of Us 2, you know he's going to be needed for a long fucking time because he's in that fucking entire game. So it just depends on how you want to play it, and you can schedule around it. There are specificities to it.
Mm-hmm. And it's only, for all we know, because it's supposed to be 2 seasons for the part 2.
Yeah.
He might not be fully needed because it really is Ellie's. Yeah. It's more of Ellie's journey throughout that one.
Yes.
So, but I know what you're saying for
Joel's presence there is key. Yeah. Is essential.
So who knows? Because one of the other reports, and I don't know whose article it was saying that basically all the other studios want him to do Fantastic Four because it only helps them. Fantastic Four comes out. Oh, that's that guy. He was in this, and this. Oh, and then Last of Us season 2 comes out. Gladiator 2 comes out. Weapons comes out. So I think it makes sense for everyone to be like working with him. Plus the Mandalorian, you know, we're never seeing fucking his face again. We're never seeing his face again.
So. All right. So now let's go into this. Let's assume he is Reed Richards. He signs on the dotted line. He signs the contract. He's going to be our new Iron Man, per se, going into the future of the MCU. A Vanessa Kirby as a Sue Storm. Do you like it?
It's
paired up with Pedro Pascal.
I literally love this. Like Vanessa Kirby,
the best part of Napoleon.
Yeah, easily. Like, dude, she's the best part of like anything she's in. I'm not even joking. Like, she has such. She's one of those actresses that, like, in 10, 15 years, we're gonna look back and be like, "Holy shit!" Like, look at this catalog of performances. She can do anything: action, drama. I still think Pieces of a Woman. I almost argue she should have won that year.
Good.
I almost argue she should. I don't even who did win that year. It was 2020. Frances McDormand. Yeah, I still would have given it to Vanessa Kirby, and I really liked Nomadland. I loved it, but
Nomadland is great. Yeah,
there's something about that performance that's just so heartbreaking. Easily, love that.
All right, everyone, and with that down, let's move on to our favorite part of the show, our questions and answers part of the show. Zach, do you want to get us started today? Because I feel like I always get us started. I
just pulled it up.
All right, go for it.
All right. G. Colby asks, any predictions on when we'll see characters like Thor, Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, and the Eternals again, and what would you do with them? Or what would they do with them. I'm gonna say let's say what we would do with them. So I guess let's start with.
Okay.
You just want to go like one by one, so we'll start with Thor
Yeah,
first.
sure. Let's
Okay.
do it.
Thor 5. I think for me is like exactly where he should come in.
Thor 5.
Specifically because of
100%.
Hercules at the post-credit scene.
I
That just
agree.
seems the most logical way. I don't see Hercules and him fighting in an Avengers film, a Kang Dynasty,
No.
in a
They
Secret
gotta be
Wars.
teamed up by then.
Yeah. Shang-Chi too. I think that's the most logical next step.
After this week, yeah, Shang-Chi too. And we'll probably
if not, I would have said he would have been one of the leads in King Dynasty easily.
Yeah, and he can still be like at this moment.
Now let me ask you, since it'll probably still be 3-4 years before we get another fucking Shang-Chi 2, where would you want to see him show up? Like, if out of the movies coming up that we know of, is there any of those that you'd be like, oh, it'd be cool to see him just pop up?
Let me see the movies we have coming up.
Deadpool, Cap, Thunderbolts, Blade.
Out of the selection pool, I would have to say Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Not that there's a direct, he shows up in the Thunderbolts, obviously, because of... No, there's no such thing. It's just that out of what we can select, I feel that's most fitting. If the plot rumors are also correct for the Thunderbolts, I think that's also where we next see the Eternals. Who knows?
Yeah. That was basically where I was at too. Yeah. So we don't even have to bring up. And if not, Eternals too. That'll basically be it. Doctor Strange 3. That's the most logical thing where it was left off at. Yeah. She-Hulk. Honestly, there's 2 things for this. Cap 4. But I think there's a chance, and small chance. Deadpool 3's post-credit scene. Them talking. Because by the time it ends, he's in the MCU. Like that's
I don't think so, but I'd be keen to see it. Okay. I'd be keen to see it.
Moon Knight, I don't fucking know.
Moon Knight season 2, Blade. Just give me a Moon Knight season 2. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Like, yeah. I don't know. So, all right. You got the next one, or that was it?
I got the next one. Yes. GoP, this will be fun. Thoughts on the Madam Web trailer and the rumor of Sony making Spider-Man 4 be another multiverse movie where Tom Holland fights off the Sony characters like Venom and Kraven instead of making it street level? My answer to both those questions is terrible. I think the idea is atrocious. It's awful. It's like basically Sony self-sabotaging their one good property out there. Their one good live action property out there, let's put it that way. Madam Web trailer, it looks awful. That is genuinely one of the worst edited trailers I have ever seen. And some of you are probably saying, oh, but Suicide Squad. No. Suicide Squad, the movie 2016, had amazing trailers. It's the movie that was cut like a trailer that made it awful. But the trailers themselves were fucking awesome. I still stand by that. The Madam Web trailer, for the absolute zero interest I already had in it, it went down somehow. I think it looks so bad. I think the costumes look horrible. Sydney Sweeney is the only one that looks good in hers, and I think that's because we only see a quick close-up shot. We don't even see the whole thing, so who knows how that looks. Not a fan. Not a fan. I was laughing all the way through that trailer. Zach, what do you think?
I've been like kind of optimistic on this movie. I don't want to be, because everything points to me that it's not great.
I want to be.
And then I watched the trailer. Like you, I mean, maybe not like you, but I was like, I'm excited to watch this trailer and do this reaction. And then fucking 3 minutes later, I'm like, I have zero. Like, if you go watch my trailer reaction, I ended the trailer reactions.
I haven't seen it yet.
I have no idea what I just watched. And I know, like, because they don't tell you the story. But, like, it's out there. Like, if you want to know what the
I'll tell you the story. It's about a guy who was in the Amazon with my mother while she was studying spiders right before she died.
So, yeah, no. And you know what Madam Web really had to make me do? So this comes out when I'm on my honeymoon. This trailer's job was for me to convince myself to take time out of my honeymoon to go watch this fucking piece
and
of
now
shit.
you're not gonna do it.
No, not at all. Unless the next trailer's like fucking incredible. No, at this point, I will not watch that movie till I get back.
Or unless I tell you, dude, there's a post-credit scene you gotta go see.
I'm just gonna look it up on Google. I'll just
Fair.
You could just tell.
I'll just tell you. I'll just tell you.
I'm so like Morbius's post-credit scene just pissed me off, and I'm assuming this one will probably piss me off too. To be honest with you,
Spider-Man,
I'm gonna predict it right now. This is the post-credit scene. You ready? This is the post-credit scene.
Go.
They're gonna hint towards Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man. 1000%.
Both?
We're either gonna see them or one of them. I don't know.
Okay.
Whoever will fucking agree to it.
Okay.
Which maybe Toby needs more gambling money. I don't know. But awful trailer. That is seriously like one of those stupid fucking trailers I've ever seen. And it's not because they're women. I really want to put that out there because I think each of them are really talented. And I was really kind of excited to see this team up movie with them. No, like the trailer's just awful. It seems like no one cares in that trailer, especially Dakota Johnson. Which sucks because she's a great actress.
She was awesome in last year's Netflix. The movie isn't all that great, but she's really good in it. It's a Jane Austen thing. I don't remember what
I
it
didn't
was.
watch it. But as for the rumor of Sony, even more stupid, even more asinine to do that. Sony, you have a catalog of spider people. Make one of them the main spider people in the Venom world. Make Miles Morales. And it would even make more sense to do Miles Morales in this world. You could say Peter Parker's already dead. Do Miles. Secret Wars comes up. Bring Miles that way. And then when everything conjoins and shit like that, then it would make so much more sense to do that. Like,
I agree.
So much more logical sense. And it just, I don't know, man. Let me tell you, because I didn't like the Craven trailer either. I fucking pray that movie's fun. And I just pray that Sony gets their fucking head out of their ass. You set up Spider-Man 4 to be a street level movie. No multiverse, no nothing like that. And then you bring Daredevil in, bring Kingpin in, just ignore that Morbius took Vulture and just say Vulture's still in this world. I mean,
Kevin Feige will.
I hope so. I genuinely hope so. If this movie really is a multiverse movie, I will fucking hate it. I'll be wanting to be proved wrong, but I will despise that. I will despise it with such a passion. I will think that's the dumbest idea Sony has ever done yet. So, is it my turn?
Yes, it is your turn, sir.
With Pedro Pascal's rumored casting getting mixed reactions, as some people think he's at this point too overexposed, and people preferring other actors like Penn Badgley and Glenn Howerton for the role. What are your thoughts on when people complain about seeing too much of an actor? Don't watch his stuff.
I don't know why people would prefer lesser actors than Pedro Pascal for whatever reason. I think we talked about this before, but I don't believe in overexposure. As long as the person is not being overworked, because if we complain for VFX artists, for anyone working in the film industry, actors are included, as long as the person themselves aren't being overworked, I don't believe in overexposure. I believe in good roles or bad roles, and I have not seen Pedro Pascal have a bad role yet. So yeah, it's just not something I have an opinion on because I just don't believe in the concept of it. But when it comes to those two actors, they're vastly lesser actors than Pedro Pascal is. So I would never prefer them if they're lesser actors. Zach?
I think it just depends. Like, I think a lot of people started having that with Jennifer Lawrence, but she started phoning in some of her roles, which I don't blame her.
I think that was the problem. I agree.
Yeah, I think she was getting overworked. But, I mean, if you have an issue with don't watch Pedro anymore. I mean, it's as simple as that. Like, so.
All right. Let me just find something that relates to the next question. And here we go. Jigo Repeat, thoughts on What If season 2 trailer, and what's your most anticipated episode of the show? I enjoyed the trailer. I thought it was fine. It's selling me on What If, and I on principle enjoy the format
What if
of a show
we
like
marketed
this.
our show as Christmas?
It's Christmas, even though there's one episode surrounding Christmas. All right, so
Do you think that one comes out on the 25th?
Probably, yeah. Otherwise, why? Now we're gotta keep this in mind because now you brought it up. Why would you release it day by day? So you release one on the 24th, one on the 25th, and imagine if none of those are the Christmas episode.
I will fucking
That's gonna be
die laughing.
That's gonna be the most
biggest fumble,
the most unintentionally funny thing ever. I'm trying to find like the episodes, the titles, but I can only find one of them listed. Yeah, I can only find what if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomp.
I got it.
All right, go for it. Tell us what it is.
Episode 1, what if Nebula joined the Nova Corp?
I'm interested in that.
What if Peter Quill attacked Earth's mightiest heroes? That one, now that I know the context of it, I'm a little bit more excited for, because I like the old school Avengers.
I find the lineup strange, to say the least, but we'll see.
Episode 3, what if Happy Hogan saved Christmas? This comes out on Christmas Eve, so
yeah. Okay, there we go. Perfect.
Iron Man. What if Iron Man crashed into the Grandmaster?
Okay.
Episode 5, what if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper? This is the one that actually Leo and everyone saw back in 2022's Comic-Con. So
okay.
Episode 6, what if the Avengers assembled in 1602? Episode 7, what if Hela found the 10 rings? Episode 8, what if Kiara reshaped the world? I think that's that new character. Yeah. Episode 9, what if Strange Supreme intervened?
So my two most anticipated are easily Strange Supreme, because it was the best episode in season 1, and what if Hela found the 10 rings. Those are the two I most want to see easily. Zach, what about you?
Honestly, I really only care about the Hela one, but I am
not the Supreme one. Crunchwrap Sorcerer Supreme.
I want to be because I really loved that's my favorite episode from the first season, but I don't know. I need to see I need to see the whole season to see how it kind of leads into that. I think these are going to be more standalone, but the other one, I'm really interested in the Peter Quill one and seeing that old school team, because I like seeing Hank Pym and that version of the Wasp, Janet, like kind of work together. So,
all right,
yeah, that's fair enough.
All right. Wait, is it?
It's my turn now. Tyler Van, do you think Thanksgiving is Eli Roth's best film? Well, I'll tell you this: I don't think Eli Roth has made a great film or a good film. So I can't say that, even though I enjoyed Thanksgiving. So I don't really have much for that one.
I think it's far from his best film. I'll say that much. All right, Jigo EP, thoughts on them possibly getting rid of Kang and scrapping Kang Dynasty with the news of Destin Daniel Cretton leaving to focus on other Marvel projects? And do you guys think them doing the multiverse saga was a great idea? Some complaining about the stakes being lowered and only using it for nostalgia. No, I still don't think doing a multiverse saga on principle as a concept was a bad idea whatsoever.
They don't really do a lot of multiverse stuff.
Because so far it's multiverse only in name, and in Doctor Strange, in Spider-Man, and in Loki. Those are the 3 projects where it has been well, technically one ending of a movie. You can see it on the other side. So 4 projects, fine. On the entire saga. But other than that, it's just been multiverse on paper. So as much as I can't say this is the best version of doing multiverse ever, I can't say this is the worst version of doing multiverse ever because they haven't done much with it. What they've done in many ways is exciting, but they haven't connected everything to this whole thing of the multiverse so far, at least that we can see. I still don't know that I believe that they are actually scrapping it as it is, because it just feels too fast and lacking too much information from where we were last week with the information we got from the book, where the parliament is meeting about maybe replacing Kang with Doctor Doom and all that. And now suddenly they are planning on scrapping. No, I we'll have to wait and see. Like Zach said, there's a big Brazilian Comic-Con coming in December. They're probably going to announce Fantastic Four there. Maybe they end up announcing what they're actually doing too, which I would if I was them. I would. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Zach?
They're not scrapping Kang. I think, and honestly, I genuinely think that's the worst choice you could do here. And the only reason I say that is because if you pivot to Doom, Doom is a Thanos level threat where he should be teased through 3 phases, not phase and a half. Well, I think by the time Fantastic Four comes out, that's the last phase or the last thing for this saga. So for me, the reason Destin left is because they're probably going to push Kang back. They're probably going to push it back another year or 2. And that's makes sense. We had the actor strike. There's a possible VFX strike coming up. There's all this stuff happening. And why is Destin going to keep putting energy into an Avengers film that's so far down the line? I could absolutely see him coming back, like, to this project. But at this point, he wants to focus on Wonder Man, and he wants to focus on Shang-Chi too. And who says he doesn't? You know what movie I think he's going to do? Are we allowed to talk about? I'll just. Can I talk post credits? Can I say post credit or not post credit ending of the Marvels?
Yeah.
Okay. If you haven't seen the Marvels yet, you're not gonna fucking see it till it's on Disney Plus. And at this point, you probably know about the ending. I'm gonna bet you right now he's doing a Young Avengers.
I would like to see that.
I think he does a Young Avengers movie, and I think we see that before Kang Dynasty or whatever the fuck it's called. And then I'll say this: Benson and Moorhead will be directing part 1 and part 2.
They are the choice. They are the fucking choice.
Makes sense too. You have the Russo brothers, a duo director doing the Infinity War and Endgame, and it worked out great. And not saying that you have to have 2 people always directing these.
Yeah, not to say that's the formula.
But I'll tell you this: that will be announced shortly after Daredevil comes out.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
Like Daredevil is going to come out, and everyone's going to be like, "Damn, this is really fucking good." And the writers of Loki will also be writing this film. Both of them.
Ooh, yeah.
I think Kevin Feige. Okay, Loki is our highest acclaimed thing. Let's move them over. I think, and the score. Maybe I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself. I think Holt does the score.
Ooh. I don't know. I'd bring back Silvestri.
I would too, man. I would too, but it just seems so thing. The only other person I could see doing the 2 Avengers films, and that's because of how much Kevin Feige said that, like, it was just offhand, like he didn't have to worry too much, is Sam Raimi. But I don't know if he would do it genuinely. Yeah, and no. I'm more on the Benson and Moorhead doing it than I am anything else.
So. Same here. All right, what's next?
G. Colby, after the Marvels flopped and the divisive reception, do you guys feel the discourse surrounding the MCU has become tired and even become more cynical, especially with the MCU's dead labels coming back? So I don't care. I genuinely do not give a fuck. People can think it's dead to them. It's not dead though.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. No. The Marvels, we can't call it a flop yet till it's done, because yes, it flopped opening weekend, but so did Elemental. And then Elemental ended up making a small little profit. So
the legs on that film.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So, and there's not a lot coming out. So the Marvels, if it just keeps ticking away, It can make
if
its
it
money
just
back.
keeps being there, that's enough.
And that's what Elemental had. So I'm not saying that it's going to. I don't think the movie will have legs like Elemental, but the movie had a lot of other issues than the
It
reason that
most likely won't have legs like Elemental.
No, it probably
Because
won't.
no
Not at
movies
all.
have legs like Elemental. So yeah.
Exactly. So.
Jico EP, I saw that Merle's video on this, but how would you guys handle the MCU now if you were Feige? It's tough to say. I wouldn't make a video on this because it's tough to say because I don't know what the plan is. Because if you show me the plan, I can tell you, well, cool that that's the plan. I would take these pieces and do it in a different way. With the pieces that we have right now, to me, it's just impossible to say what makes sense because not all is clear. So, personally, at least, I don't feel like I have a valid opinion or a valid plan or a valid perspective on it all. Zach, what about you?
I didn't watch it, but how would I handle the MCU?
Yeah, I didn't
Honestly,
watch it
the biggest thing that I would just say is I need more quality. I mean, that's genuinely just the big thing. Please go into production with finished scripts now. Not we'll figure it out. The second thing, stop giving me post-credit scenes that lead nowhere. Give me a post-credit scene of where we are going next. Like, it doesn't have to tie into the film that I just watched. Say, let's go back to Shang-Chi. So Shang-Chi's post-credit scene is Wong and Captain Marvel and Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner talking with Shang-Chi and Aquafina's character that I cannot remember the name of. And
Pity.
from that on, that should have led into the next movie. Flat out.
That should have led into the Marvels.
That should have led into the Marvels. And then, next thing after that, the Marvels gives us its post-credit scene, and that should lead into something else. Every time. Eternals, same thing. And maybe this was their plan. I know a lot of things shifted, but Eternals should have led into Blade right away. Right away. Blade should have been the next film on their docket.
Yeah.
And they used to do that through the first 3 phases. They used to do it every time. And that's what made it connected. Not the films depending on each other, those small little things. And that's what's missing in the MCU now. None of the there's too many open-ended post-credit scenes and open-ended endings to where everyone's just like, okay. And now you have all these puzzle pieces floating around and nothing to go for them. So that's my issue. That's my biggest issue with the MCU. And honestly, when I talk to a lot of my friends who are fans of the MCU, that's their biggest issue too. They're the general audience. They're the one who doesn't go to the movies every weekend like us fucking nerds. Like, they are the ones that go here and there. And a lot of them just didn't go to the Marvels because they're exhausted. They do not get where they are going. Even though I told them, I was like, no, trust me, the thing. But one of them saw it and they're like, but Zach, when will that show? And I couldn't give them an answer. So I mean, I would hope it would lead into the next thing, but it's not guaranteed. That's not guaranteed. So
yeah. All right, what's next?
Did you guys watch Chris Tuckman's video about the future of film? Why he's worried with streaming being a biggest determinant to it? If so, what did you guys think about it? And can you give your perspective? I have nothing else to give to that perspective because I think Chris Tuckman absolutely nailed it out, and I think that's actually one of his best videos on the state of filmmaking right now. So I personally don't have a huge I don't have any other perspectives on it. I just think Chris Tuckman's video was actually one of the best, and I'm surprised not more people are talking about it.
I saw his video too, and it's his perspective is the most encompassing for all the pros and cons from both sides. There are points in there that I don't agree with necessarily, but the conclusion he comes to by pointing out everything that he points out, I think he's on the money. I completely agree with what he's saying, and it's one of his best videos. I agree. It's the reason why Stuckman is Stuckman, and everyone knows who he is, and everyone respects his perspective. That video is why, honestly. Again, I don't agree with everything he says. I don't agree with everything he points out, but I agree with his overall conclusion, given all the things he does point out. So yeah. GKP, here's a music question. Since Blink 182's Untitled album turns 20 years old today, what are some of your favorite albums from your youth/childhood? Valley of the Damned by Dragon Force is one. Chocolate Starfish by Limp Bizkit is another. What's the what was that album? Red Hot Chili Peppers albums. Stadium Arcadium. Stadium Arcadium is another big one. And then more niche bands. Metallica had banger albums in my youth. Iron Maiden as well. Camelot too. But like those three, I remember very well. Those three big albums. Zach, what about you?
There's a lot. I don't really know the titles of them, but just the Foo Fighters, the Rolling Stones. You said Red Hot Chili Peppers, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, Foo Fighters. Have you ever seen the Christopher Walken introducing the Foo Fighters? Foo Fighters.
Christopher Walken.
All right, what's next?
Dune. Speaking of him, thoughts on Dune Part 2 moving up to March 1st release date and the Fall Guys being delayed to May?
Well, sucks for the Fall Guy, but we can live with that because it's like 2 months. Dune being moved to the beginning of March so it can be in theaters on March 7th is the greatest thing fucking ever. I love it. It's amazing. They should have moved to December now, but you know.
Do you know why they moved
in the end? Because it's my birthday.
Well, yes, but also because it's 4 to 6 weeks in
reason.
IMAX now. If they moved,
so nice.
Which is the same deal they had back in November. So smart.
Which is a good deal, but not as big of a deal as being in theaters on my birthday. Let's just
and on my birthday. Clear. Because my birthday is 2 weeks.
Yeah.
See, so this is why March is the best month.
March is the best month. All right, what's next? No, so Zach, you just did this.
I can do this one. It's for me.
Yeah, because it's for you.
So Zach, the Game Award nominations were announced. What are your thoughts on the nominations? Especially, what are your thoughts on what got nominated for Game of the Year? Any surprises? A massive snub. So I'm not going to speak on all the nominations because honestly, I didn't look at them. I just looked at Game of the Year. All of those, I have not played the new Mario game, but I imagine it's fucking great. It's Mario. When does Nintendo make a shitty game? Great impression.
Thank you very much.
I'm totally fine with every nomination on here. I've played every game except Mario, and I think they're all fucking great. One game should not be on there, though, and that's Resident Evil, because it is a remake. Oh. I do not believe remakes should be on here. Now, yes, it's different, but it's basically the same game. It's basically the same game. I played the original one this year. It's almost exactly the same game. That game should not be on here. That game, I would have put like 5 other games on there over it. And not saying that I like those 5 other games more, but I think it's already been nominated before. And that's the only thing that I think was a little bit disappointing. I think Lies of P, which I have not played, but a lot of people hyped up, that new Pinocchio Dark Souls game, got a lot of buzz.
Oh, yeah.
Something that could have been looked at. Hogwarts Legacy, not saying it has the deepest story, but that's another one that like they brought to life the world of Hogwarts in a really fun way. Trying to think, there's probably a couple others, because like at that point, like if Resident Evil was able to get nominated, then why wasn't Cyberpunk 2.0 the big change and difference? Because that's almost a different game now. Like I could argue that. So it's a little disappointing. But like for me, the biggest snub was Diablo 4 not being nominated. That is personally probably my favorite game of the year, and it not being nominated just sounds fucking stupid. Same with like it got snubbed for art direction, which also makes no sense to me because that's the other one that I could remember off the top of my head. But great lineup. This was a great year for gaming. This is one of the best years for gaming. But that was
I agree.
Again, I agree. Resident Evil 4,
excellent game.
I'm not shitting on it. I would want to see you play Baldur's, but I don't think you like turn-based stuff besides Pokemon,
No,
right? Yeah.
like everything I've seen from Baldur's, like this genuinely looks amazing. I would definitely
Dude, I'll tell you
100%
right
not
now,
enjoy this.
Even on the easiest difficulty, I struggle to play that game. It's fucking hard. It's
that's
really
not
hard.
what I'm looking for in my games.
No, and I haven't played in 2 months, and then I went back just yesterday. No, I'm probably just gonna have to restart, and I'm not
No.
mentally ready for that. So I'm just gonna do it after the holidays.
Alrighty. Lady Erin, with the Thanksgiving holiday coming next week, what are your plans for Thanksgiving this season? I have no plans because I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Zach, what about you?
Eat food.
Eat food. Eat lots and lots of food.
Yes.
All right, you read 2 in a row. I'll read 2 in a row. So yesterday I got the Super Mario RPG remake for the Switch and started playing it for the first time ever. Never played the original game, so I can't wait to finally go through the game. So what are some legendary video games that you guys have surprisingly never played before? All of them. I never played a Super Mario game until the kart for the Switch, Mario Kart for the Switch. So basically, I never played a Zelda game. What else, Zach? I never played any of the original GTAs until San Andreas.
Smash Brothers?
I have one of the Smashes for the 3DS, but that's it.
Oh, that's the worst one.
Well, at least I started with the first one. If I ever play any of the others, yeah. But I have not played a lot of legendary games. Any Metal Gears? I've not played any of the Metal Gears. They would definitely not be for me.
I think
when the
remake comes out in 2 years, Metal Gear Solid 3, you should try that one because it'll be redefined better to play.
What was the one for the PS3? Because that's the first one I tried.
Metal
it's
Gear
one
Solid
of those
4.
like, oh,
Guns.
I know Metal Gear, but I tried for the PS3. It was 4. Kept dying immediately on the very first kind of mission thing level, whatever. Yeah, so I have not played a ton of legendary games. Zach?
I have played a lot. So it's actually a little bit more difficult for me to say what games I have not played. So I'm like genuinely trying to think. Fuck, I don't know. Legendary. There's a lot of games I haven't beaten, like as a kid. Like I would play it as a kid, but I just never beat them. Like Chrono Trigger, I never beat, which I really want to. But they you know what? What was that? You have played it or no?
Never played it. Yeah.
Oh,
No.
I wish they would remaster that one. Honestly.
No. You just reminded me. I've also never played the Kingdom Hearts games.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts.
Also never played Final Fantasy.
Oh, you know what game you haven't played? The Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, because I saw you.
Oh yeah, that's another one. And now I'm gonna keep not playing it. Apparently.
Yeah. Oh God, man. I don't have an answer. I genuinely don't. I've at least played most.
No worries. What's next?
Then. In honor of the Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes being released, what are your favorite moments from each Hunger Games movie? And if listened to the soundtrack and have gotten to it, what's your favorite song from the Hunger Games soundtrack? I can't answer any of that from all of them, but I can answer one of my favorite moments, Catching Fire's ending, when they fuck up the barrier. I thought that was the coolest thing.
I'm going to give you a moment from Mockingjay Part 2. Because in the books, it was one of my favorite. In the books, Mockingjay is my favorite book.
Yeah.
And when the balloons come down, after everything is supposedly done, after the rebellion has won, the balloons come out onto the children, and Prim fucking dies in front of Katniss. I couldn't believe what was happening. And it's just as effective in the movie. That is one of my favorite moments in the entire franchise. Lady Aaron, along with the new Hunger Games movie soundtrack, the soundtrack for Wish also came out yesterday. I did not know that. If you have watched the movie and listened to the soundtrack, what's your favorite song from Wish? Not seen the movie, so I've not listened to the soundtrack. I've only listened to This Wish, and that's it. And I'm going to keep it that way until Monday evening when I watch the film. Zach?
I don't want to answer because you haven't seen the film yet.
Okay, perfect. What's next?
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
I got it.
Wait. Yeah. Go for the next one.
You got it?
I don't know.
You
I don't
wanna
know
do
where
it?
I'm at. No, I'm confused.
Lady Aaron, so for the new Hunger Games, I've seen nothing but praise for the movie based on reviews. Yet the movie turned out to get a rotten critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. This makes me fear the same will happen for Wish 2. Are we at the point of not trusting overall critic score for Rotten Tomatoes, or can we still really trust it? And what are some of the more recent movies like from this year and last year think did not deserve Rotten?
I have a thought to this.
The Rotten Tomatoes score. So I don't remember what movies got fresh, or I don't care. It's not a trusting the Rotten Tomatoes
An aggregate
meter. It's an aggregate. You don't trust it or distrust. It just gives you facts. So there's nothing to trust or distrust.
Yeah.
Why I don't care for Rotten Tomatoes goes to meet what you're asking about. To me, it only matters what specific critics that you follow, that you enjoy hearing their thoughts, that you see your thoughts, your opinions lining up with them. I follow individual critics. I don't follow the Rotten Tomatoes because I don't care about what the collective thinks, because I don't know over 10,000 people in the collective. I know maybe 10 people there. So I follow those 10 people, and that's it. Zach?
Not every critic on Rotten Tomatoes is on Twitter. A lot of people have left Twitter.
Yeah.
If you see, most people who post their reactions on Twitter are the same people.
Yeah.
So take that as what you will. I mean, I'm surprised by how low it was, but like, not all those critics are like, if you go down Rotten Tomatoes and look at all those critics and try and find a Twitter page for them, I doubt most of them have one. So,
yeah. All right, what's next?
What are some movies that got released in 2023 that had so much potential to be good, but yet they fell flat on their faces and completely let you down in an incredibly disappointing, dissatisfied way? Napoleon.
Well, yeah, that's the one.
I genuinely don't have any, like, that's the biggest one. And speaking of which, the next question is also a Napoleon one. I guess I will do that too. Does Ridley Scott's latest film Napoleon rank as one of your best films from him, in the middle, or the worst? Lady, I'm a little disappointed. That means you didn't watch my review, because it came out before you posted this question. So now I'm not answering your question.
I will say, because it's Ridley Scott, it ranks in the middle, because he's done much better. He's also done much worse. Like he's a filmmaker with a very up and down track record. So he fluctuates on the good and on the bad side of the spectrum. So if I was going to rank it, it'd probably be somewhere down the middle. All right. Next up. Here we go. Reactions for the movie The Color Purple have been coming out lately. Have you seen the first reactions to the movie? Does this make you even more excited for the movie or not? I haven't seen the movie, so I'm not watching first reactions. Zach?
I mean, the Rotten Tomatoes score will probably be low, so.
But I will be watching the movie. So I will be watching the movie this week or next week. I don't remember, but within the next 2 weeks. Zach.
Have you guys watched the new Scott Pilgrim anime series that was released on Netflix? And if so, what are your current thoughts? Well, let me say this right now. Ren fucking hates Scott Pilgrim. And second, another thing.
No, I don't.
No. She's not watching my reviews. I'm not answering this question.
But I don't hate Scott Pilgrim.
No, you fucking hate it.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I
will pull up your comment.
What comment?
What do you think about it? I feel like you hate it.
I have absolute zero interest. If I if I hated it, I would have to have some sort of emotional response to it, and I don't.
Okay.
That's just it. So yeah. All right. I have no interest, so I will not be watching, so I don't have an opinion. Lady Aaron, so I'm hearing the new Hunger Games movie got a B+ in my score. The reviews have been pretty divisive about it, while the Rotten Tomatoes audience and film Twitter are loving it. What do you think is going wrong for the film? Why do you think it is underperforming? Do you think this movie deserves this kind of treatment or
It's
not?
not underperforming.
Whether I think it deserves this kind of treatment or not, go watch my review. I don't know why it's underperforming, because I didn't have the biggest the highest interest in this film, and then the first trailer came out, and immediately I was like, that looks actually really fucking good. And it is really fucking good. I think one of the reasons it could be underperforming is the runtime, because these days that's all people want to fucking talk about even before they watch the film. Another reason is there is a lot of stuff out. Now, granted, the Marvels isn't doing hot at the box office, but it's there. It's an option. Then you guys also got Trolls this week. We got Trolls like a month ago. Then you got Hunger Games. Next week you got Disney's Wish. Then after that, you start getting Color Purple, Wonka, Aquaman. You got so much packed into this last half of the year that there's a lot of competition there. So to me, that those are like two reasons, but I don't think those would be two reasons that it underperforms. Contributing factors, but not the cause of the underperformance. Zach, what do you think?
I mean, the weekend's not over, so we don't know fully how much. The movie was also only made
That's
for $100 million overall, so that's not bad at all. As long as it has legs, it'll make its money back. And the biggest thing is the last Hunger Games movie fucking sucked to most people. So it was
that's true.
very lackluster, and it's been over 8 years since that film. About almost 8 years. So,
yeah.
I mean, this is the type of movie that just needs to do good.
It is 8 years. Because they all came out around the mid-November. So they're all like around the same date.
It just needs to do good. And if it does good, then that shows the studio, oh, there's still some legs in this.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. You gave a much better reason than I did, because the last one wasn't well received, because it was 8 years ago, and Hunger Games, the franchise, didn't stay like in the pop culture zeitgeist.
Yeah, and YA novel adaptions just
they
aren't
died out
huge now anymore.
Yeah,
100%. Which I wouldn't say this is a YA. Like, I've always found the Hunger Games to be a bit above those, but yeah,
but they are.
Yeah. There's just different things to it. So yeah. I hope it does good, but it doesn't need an $80 million opening. That'd be great.
That's true.
It genuinely just needs to open to like 40, 50.
And let's see how it's going to do internationally.
Yeah,
I think it's going to
internationally.
Do very well.
I think it'll make more money. Yeah. So,
all right. What's next?
How did the other Hunger Games movies do? That's actually one thing I want to look at, because
I think they all did really well. I don't remember how the box office went with the last two.
I'm gonna ask you.
Okay.
What do you think the lifetime? So I'm gonna ask you what do you think the lifetime gross of Catching Fire worldwide altogether?
Catching Fire. What's the leeway you're giving me either way?
It's over 300.
No, yeah, I would have guessed it's over 300. Like, what how off can I be? Can I be like 20 million off either way?
Well, can I also be honest? I clicked on something and I fucking hate Box Office Mojo now, because I clicked on it thinking, oh, that's actually lower than I thought. And then I clicked on the actual title and that was only domestic. So I'm just going to tell you now. Catching Fire made 865 million.
Okay, I was going to go
The first Hunger Games movie made 694.
Okay. Mockingjay
Part 1 made 755. That's a lot.
Okay.
I didn't think it was that much. And Part 2 made 653.
Okay, so Catching Fire was when it peaked, because even Mockingjay Part 2 did below that, and then Part 2 did below that.
Mm-hmm.
Bullet
But the
Part 1. So
budget of this movie is only the second lowest. Everything else was above
okay,
100. So
yeah, so
I
they
mean,
should be good.
genuinely, yeah, like they're fine. Now,
Yeah, they
given the
should be all
opening
right.
weekends for all those films are in the 100,000s, but give or take.
Yeah.
But
All
we're in a
right,
different era
what's
now.
next?
Well, since today is November 18th, today officially marks the 1 year since Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out. What are your favorite parts about the game, and why is this one of your favorite why did I say MCU? I'm stupid. One of your favorite main series Pokemon
In the
games, or
MCU.
one of the worst, and why? And with the Indigo Disc part of the DLC coming out next month, are you excited for it? And are you hopeful? I've been saying it. I have no fucking idea what this Indigo Disc thing is every time you've asked. Is it one of my favorites in the main series? Give or take. I like the more original ones still more. Nothing has really surpassed, but I do think Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was excellent. I think that what they captured was what I loved when I was a kid playing Soul Silver, or playing Silver, Gold, Emerald, Red, Blue, but it also captured one of the most underrated GameCube games of all time, which is Gale of Darkness. It captured that same open world
I never
essence in
played that one.
3D. You're fucking disappointing me.
We never got it. We never got it.
Really? That's really
No,
sad.
we got Pokemon Coliseum also for the GameCube,
That
and then the
that
Gale
one's
of
great.
Darkness was the sequel to it, but we never got that one.
Yeah, that sucks. Well, you are coming out here, so we can put it on, play it for a second.
That's true.
It's a very long game. But yeah, so it mixed that, and I was really happy. Ren?
Yeah, I can't believe it's been a year. It's one of my favorite Pokemon games. It's one of my favorite Pokemon regions. That's always a contributor to how much I enjoy the game. So yeah, when it comes to am I hopeful? I don't think on those terms. I am a very selfish person. I think in the terms of I want to play that. Give me some. So yeah, that's all I think about. All right, Nathan Madigan. No, wait. Lady Aaron, there's a lot of movie scores that have been released over the year that ended up being stuck in your head. Well, not really. So from 2016 to 2023, or some movie scores that you still have stuck in your head, and listen to the tracks.
Impossible.
Too many
answer.
movie scores to name. You know, I love La La Land. I love Babylon. I love Justin Hurwitz's work, Hans Zimmer's work, Alan Silvestri work, Micah Giacchino. So whatever they worked on in that span of time, those are the scores that have been stuck with me. Zach?
I'm not answering. I don't know.
All right, what's next?
Nathan Madigan, a common criticism I've seen for movies released theatrically is that it should have gone straight to streaming. Which qualities do you believe create the perception that a movie is worth seeing in theaters versus watching at home? I'll tell you right now, I don't think any film should be just straight to streaming. I think every movie deserves a chance in theaters, no matter how shitty or bad it is. Obviously, there's worse films, but like I didn't watch the movie Pain Hustlers with Chris Evans or Emily Blunt.
I did,
and it's not great, right? I've
No.
heard it's pretty, yeah. So, but I still would contend that movie should have been in theaters. There's a whole essence of these movies being thrown on streaming that are everyone forgets about them. But like The Killer, for instance, David Fincher's brand new film that's on streaming that literally zero fucking marketing for it. Why that should have been a wide released movie. And it wasn't.
I'm
It
so
was
glad I
barely in
watched
any
it on the big
theaters.
screen.
I'm really happy I got to as well. Pneumonia. That was a great movie. Should have been in theaters. That probably would have done really well in theaters. These streaming services, specifically Netflix, and they're literally the only one because everyone else at least puts movies in theaters, are fucking
Napoleon,
up.
Killers of the Flower Moon. They're both from Apple.
Yeah. So that's my whole thing. I don't really. I don't know. You go next, man.
I agree with you that I think movies belong on the big screen. Now, there are definitely lesser movies. I 100% agree. And I have used the term in the past. You have used the term in the past.
Yeah.
All of us have used the term in the past of, oh, this is a straight to streaming movie. It's not that I don't believe movies should be in theaters. I totally do. But in the era we live in, the culture being what it is right now, this is a streaming movie. This is a film that now That's the term we now created. That's what it means for a movie to not be worth your money. It's not that movies shouldn't go to theaters. It's that just like for decades prior to streaming, there were movies that you went to see and this wasn't very good. I'll probably catch it on TV on a Sunday afternoon when it comes on New Year's or Christmas or whatever holiday. But now streaming has become that denominator for lack of quality. Doesn't mean the movies shouldn't go to theaters, but it means on principle a movie that goes straight to streaming, that's a lesser film. And that's what it means. So yeah. Did you read this last one or did I?
I did.
You did, okay. Tobes, hey Ren, did you know the Boiling Point film you've recommended in the past now has a TV series that started last month? Yes, I do. I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's all out here. They started streaming all together, I believe. I believe they're on BBC One. They're on BBC iPlayer over here in the UK. But yes, I'm very intrigued to watch it, but I have not started yet. All right, Zach, what's next?
This is for you, Ren. Are you still going to release the Marvel's post-credit scene video?
It feels like it's too late now. Like there's little to no interest for it. But if you guys are interested, please do let me know in the comments. And if there's enough interest generated, I still have all my notes. I still have all the plans that I had for that video. So if you guys are interested, let me know in the comments below, and I will release that video. Right now, I'm inclined to give up on it just because I didn't have time to do it right away. So now it feels too late. But yeah, let me know, and I would love to make that video. All right, next up.
This is the last question too.
Last question. All right. Luis Luciano. Ren Zach, thoughts on part 1 of The Crown season 6? No thoughts because I don't watch it. Zach?
The only person that I'm the only one that wears a crown in this world, so that's my answer.
Like Napoleon, a crown that doesn't fit in your head?
Yeah, basically, but
yeah.
At least, why the fuck did he not have a French accent?
Because that would be very annoying for 2.5 hours.
Well, I don't give a fuck. It was unrealistic and stupid.
Well, it was also unrealistic that Joaquin Phoenix is a very tall guy. So,
yeah, that's true.
It was also very realistic that these my destiny brought me these lamb chops. If you see Napoleon, if you plan on seeing Napoleon, that line, holy fucking shit. All right, everyone. And with that out of the way, we are done for episode 67 of This Week in Geek. Thank you so much for joining us this week. I am watching Disney's Wish on Monday. I am probably watching American Fiction on Thursday. And then we got Color Purple, we got Wonka, and then
I love
I'm
how
going
you have
back
all these
home.
Screeners, and I have nothing because it's Thanksgiving.
Well, I'm going to FYC screenings. You can go on the app. We'll talk after the show. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. We'll be back very soon. And until the next one, love each other and love the movies. Bye-bye, everybody.